Technical difficulties, but we back, we back, we back, we back. All right, so Forrest Gump on Wednesday for your Wellness Wednesday, checking in. So pretty much when it comes down to it, old shoes, new shoes. A lot of times you will go through things in your life and it's like putting on those old pair of shoes. You know, you're struggling, adversities coming in, you things that, kind of harm you to the point of you actually trying to deal with this stuff and it's actually taking a toll. So it gets to a point to where, you try to have an understanding or just get an understanding of what things really are. So, you can better equip yourself to move on and do better, be better, stuff like that. And knowingly, man, you just walking the plank. Because when it comes down to it, most of the time people don't know where they're going. Most of the time you haven't had the proper leadership, proper direction. You've had parents in your life that can guide you through and help you do things. But when it comes down to it, saying the least, a lot of times kids don't even deal with their parents, because what's the old saying? Parents just don't understand. You know, it comes to a point where you have to listen to somebody, and wise people can give you a lot of knowledge. It's just the point of you actually taking in that heed of that knowledge and listening. Just like the old pair of shoes compared to the new pair of shoes. You walk through life with so much misery and pain, issues coming about, but it's up to you. You can change all that. You know, it takes time, but overall, having an ear, someone can listen to you. That's one of the biggest things to start. What's going on, Country Hustle? And that's one of the biggest things to start in life. Having someone that you can talk to, overcome a lot of adversity, man. It comes down to it. When you're walking this path, like I say with the shoes, when the shoes tend to get old, you want to take them off, put on some new shoes. But you always forget about the struggles that happened when you had on the old shoes. And a lot of people, they tend to carry baggage over versus things that can help them better themselves. You know, prime example. This is always for little kids. Frugal mama, what's going on with you? I got to get up early so I can check it back out. I've been getting up late lately. But when it comes down to it, it's crazy. Every child has either done this or heard about this, where parents telling you, don't touch the stove, it's hot. Or don't touch, this is hot. Pretty much every child has heard or seen that to a degree. And it gets to a point to where when you actually go through the motions, you know not to touch that stove again because you'll get burnt, you know? And it's crazy how a lot of people don't take that same thing and put it over into their lives to the point where I've gone through something, I'm not going to go through it again. You know, prime example in relationships. You got women that say, man, I'm not going through this no more, but they keep going through the same thing over and over again. You got men say the same thing. I'm not going through this no more. I want me a good woman, but you keep picking the same women over and over again. And like I said, it goes back to your teaching. A lot of times we're in situations to the point where whoever taught us this things of how to live and how to go through life, pretty much the mentors, whether it be mom and dad, whether it be cousins, somebody has influenced our lives to make us live like this. Because normal circumstances, you live according to who? The teachings of your parents. But it's a lot of times where we actually get away from the teachings of our parents and try to figure out life on our own. Sometimes we take the road less traveled. Sometimes we stay the straight and narrow. But the point of it is, we go through life experience through other people, you know. And I've always said life is the best teacher. If you don't get taught by life, if you don't get taught by people, life will teach you. Life will let you know how hard it is out here to survive on your own, to have no one around you, to, get cut off of communication, or you can get to the point where you have a support system, somebody that's there for you. You have people mentoring you, whether it be family, friends, somebody that can help you throughout your struggles. And that's the biggest thing. A lot of times, a lot of people just don't have nobody to talk to. You know, Even here on YouTube, you have a lot of people that have internet friends that, pretty much that support them better than their family. And then sometimes it's an issue at hand, but the point of reference is this. You have literally so many people that, kind of reach out and need support. Like I said, going back into the old shoes, new shoes. Once you put on those new shoes, you still should remember all the things that you had going on. Sexy Red, what's going on with you? And so that actually makes you stronger. When you have been through the fire, been through the struggles, and when you put on those new shoes, that should keep you to the point of remembering, I don't want to go through this issues no more. I don't want to go through this pain no more. I don't want to have to struggle like this no more. So I'm going to do better for my life. And that's the point where a lot of us, we're not going through this whole thing where we've been through struggles, relationships, jobs. What do? Keep going back through the same thing. It's like we haven't learned from our mistakes. That's the whole point of when you put on the new shoes, you still remember all the things that you did with those shoes. You took them through the trenches, everything, cut them from, rocks and whatever. You messed those shoes up. Remembering the soles, that's why a lot of people, like I've noticed when I was younger, there was a lot of older people would take the insoles out the old shoes and put them in the new shoes so they don't have to break them in. They already had the grooves set with their toes, whether, they're flat-footed or something to the point where their arch is already perfect in that shoe. And they will literally sometimes go and buy the same shoe. Because there was a thing that they always said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that goes into a family relationship as well. If you have a situation in your life that's good, why try to amend that? J Mill, what's going on? Officially J Mill in the building. You literally have a great situation. Why try to change it? For the people that go through the struggles and try to get out of struggling, feeling this pain, feeling this hurt, all this stuff, like, you must learn from your mistakes. If you fall and hit your head, you try not to fall again. Same thing I went over earlier. When you touch that hot stove, it's hot. Kids know not to go back and touch that hot stove again. They might think about it, but all that pain kicks back in. They remember not to touch that stove again. And like I said, most of the time, kids know from looking at other people touching hot stoves not to touch that stove. That's why I say when it comes to relationships, jobs, family members, friends, why do we constantly bump our head over the same thing? Even to a degree online, I hear so many conversations with dudes and women. They're going through things and people giving them advice. A wise man once told me, look at their life and see how they live it. If their life is okay, you might want to take a little bit of that advice, but just for reference, don't take no advice from nobody, and you don't see how they're living, because that's the biggest thing. Hey, Red, cut it off real quick. Hey, when you gonna do your gaming again? I know I jump up now and then. I don't see your gaming popping up, but just asking about that. But a lot of times, people go through struggles, and it's like, I'm gonna take the advice of this guy. I'm gonna take the advice of my uncle. Your uncle, 5 kids, 4 divorces, just can't get it together. But if he's giving you this moral support of telling you his struggles, I can understand that, because that's a life lesson. I can learn from what you did wrong to make my life be better. But if you're giving me advice about my life, saying how, I need to pick these type of women, I need to, do this type of job, and you have no job, explain to me more why I need to get into a career of, let's say truck driving, and truck drivers don't make any money. Or let's say I want to get into a career of being a lawyer, but I got to have so many years under my belt to become a lawyer. See, things of that nature. You have to assess things, understanding that, hey, he could be giving you the best advice. Seek wise counsel. That's the thing with a lot of people. Finding people in that field, ask them what they're doing, ask them how's it working. That's what you want to do. You don't want to just take the advice or word of anybody, family or friend, because that's the thing. People struggle. People go through things and adversity. We all in this together. We need to work for the greater good. So why are we all out here listening to people that don't got their life together, don't got things right, but they're trying to give you the best advice? They should be seeking their own advice. They should be doing things in which they're telling us to do for them to do. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes back to the old shoes versus the new shoes. It's a lot of us, when you get that new look, you feel brand new, you want to act brand new, but there's some things still within that, frame that's still hindering you. Guys go get a fresh cut, go get a nice suit or a nice outfit. Man, they feel like $1,000,000. But on the inside, it's still pain. It's still those, self-esteem issues, the issues that you're dealing with someone, you're trying to avoid. So, same thing with women, going through your struggles, look good. What is the song? Mary Mary? I think Erica Campbell. It's the God in me. What they don't know is when they go home, I get behind closed doors crying. That's the thing with a lot of people. You see the outside, you see this glitz and glamour, but the inside, whole nother story. Prime example, they had a YouTuber. Um, she was inspired by this lady, always wearing nice clothes, nice purses, and she started getting her game together. Every time she would see this lady post on Instagram, she was saying, "Man, I just adore this lady, man. She's so good. She's so talented. She's this, she that." So when she got to the point of, you know, doing pretty good for herself and she started holding conferences, she was like, man, I think I'm going to reach out to this lady. I'm going to have her come to one of my conferences because she was the one that motivated me and inspired me to be great. So lo and behold, she hit the lady in the DMs on Instagram. She was like, hey, I'm reaching out to you, letting you know that I want to have this conference of all these empowered women, and and I want to help other women aspire to be just like you. Could you help me to my point? You know what happened with this lady? Literally, The lady was actually getting kicked out of her house. She was renting, and she said, "Well, I'm kind of not in a situation right now because by next month I don't even know where I'm gonna stay. I gotta pack all my stuff up and move because I didn't have enough money to pay my rent for the past couple of months." So she was like, "Oh, sorry to hear that." And she said, "I'm just out here trying to make it and this and that." And she said, "Oh, okay. I understand your situation." And literally, when she got off the phone with the lady posted a picture because she said she'd never forget it. It was some red bottom Pradas with a red purse, red Prada purse, and a real nice sundress. Everything matched up, and she was standing in front of like a red Mercedes, like she was getting ready to walk down the street. And the lady was like, "This lady just told me she about to be homeless next month, but she's still posting these real nice pictures." So it could have been a point that she just had so many pictures in the tuck to where she just, I just pop a picture here, get my fans to look at my pictures. And she was one of the fans that look at her pictures to get inspired. But the whole truth didn't even know this lady about to be homeless. Like I said, that veil outside can show people one thing, it could be a whole nother thing on the inside. But we'll never know because, hey, you only see what people allow you to see. Like I said, putting those new shoes on, the inside is cold, but the new shoes make everything look better. You know, and the reason why I kind of named this Forrest Gump too, because the whole ordeal with Forrest going through life, having challenges, and he overcame a lot of those things. He had a good heart. He had a lot of good people around him, even though some of the people kind of did him wrong to an extent. He always had a good heart about things. And so when it come down to it, it's a lot of us, man. We need to focus more on just building ourselves, building our character, because when it come down to it, needless to say, a lot of us, if without the proper mentorship, without nobody to talk to help us along the way, we just gonna keep repeating the same cycle. Keep going through the bad situations, keep trying to get out of it, keep trying to avoid things, keep trying to make things better for ourselves. And it's like in the end, what are we trying to do? Just keep staying in the same place? What about getting better for ourselves? You know, we don't have nobody to talk, no real support system. And the support system is not built overnight. It takes time. You have to understand there's people you need to be able to trust in order to have situations just in case if something ever goes wrong, you literally are okay. How many of us have that situation to where if something goes wrong, we got people we can call on, count on, they're there for us. It comes to a point where you literally have to build this system over time. I mean, there's certain things I don't talk to about family. There situations I don't let family know about, let them know because hey, some people just don't want to see you win. Needless to say, family or not, hey, some people are just for self. Friends, you know, you have people that are associates all day, but true friends, they're there thick and thin. There was a situation with one of my friends where he was going through a struggle, and I would call this dude every day, joan him, get on him because I was young, and that was the way I handled it. But I would joan him, get on him every day. Needless to say, I found out this guy was wanting to commit suicide because he had an issue that was going on in his life that was so bad, but it was to the point of me always calling him, messing with him, coming over his house, talking junk to him. and it got him out of that mode. And he actually reached out to me one day and just told me all this, and it threw me by surprise because just didn't understand like what was so bad for you to do this. Tristan, what's going on? Belle, how you doing? But it's like, what was going on so bad for him to want to do this for his life? And I just couldn't understand that, because with me, I wouldn't understand how I would need to, you know, have a get to the point where I can have to, take myself. But in his shoes, I didn't know his struggle. I didn't know what he was going through until he reached out and told me, you know. And it's kind of hard trying to work with people and deal with people like that through their struggle and pain because you're not them. You're not in their situation. So how could you easily understand or better suit them when you don't know their struggle? And it's literally hard dealing with people who you know just don't express themselves. I've always talked to different people as far as women when I used to deal with them. And it's a cliche thing, so a lot of women don't come for me in the chat. It's like, I don't understand. If you don't tell me what's going on, sometimes I'm not just picking up on these subtle things of you slamming the door. I just think you in a bad mood and you want to slam doors. Hey, I'll let you slam doors and have at it. You know, if you don't feel like cooking, you pouting a lot. I just think you want to be a baby that day. I just let you cry, whatever you want to do. But talking is the thing. You know, that's one thing with a lot of men, problem solving. If you have an issue, you let me know. We'll see how we can work it out. I literally can't fix something that I don't know is broken. You know, with most men, we deal with things according like that. And it's sometimes you do get emotional and you do want to break the situation down and take it a little further. But when it comes down to it, you actually want to have an understanding. And like I said, getting back to those old shoes versus new shoes. Understanding best suits the outside from looking in. It makes things better. Both of you guys will be on the same page. That's why I say having that situation where you can talk to somebody can avoid a lot of pitfalls in people's life. It can help avoid a lot of pitfalls. When it comes down to it, there are a lot of situations to where literally it would have been a whole lot easier if the person would just reach out to them, let them know what's going on, better suit, better understanding. It takes time for situations to actually amend, but most of the times a lot of people in their feelings for no reason. They really don't even know why. In the end, you've been hurt with somebody for so long, you almost forget about what you're hurt about. Then when you come back to that, most of the time it be nothing. Most of the time it just be a misunderstanding. I've had friends where we had misunderstanding, and I reached out to him and said, "Man, what's wrong with you? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? Oh well, you said this, or you was acting this way. Oh, you emotional about that?" And they, "Oh, you calling me emotional?" Yes, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't say it like that. You know, you're my friend, so why would I even approach you like that? What type of character you think I am? And then that goes back to a lot of times, do you actually know the people that you're dealing with? You know, so hey, even when it comes to family, you can have a brother and sister, y'all been close, and all of a sudden it just take one situation that'll turn you around. One of my friends, he was telling me how his brother Kev was going on in the building checking in. One of my friend's brother got mad at a situation between his kids and his brother kid, and his wife put I could say like pretty much put a dagger in his back to the point of making him look at his brother so into a sort of way to where when it really comes down to it, he didn't even want to fool with his brother no more. And I'm like, that's crazy. You literally to the point where y'all are blood, y'all are family, and you don't want to deal with your brother, and that to me is just like I don't know. It comes a point to where a lot of people really don't understand like the balance in this. We should be able to talk about anything. For one, we're family. If it's a point to where I can't talk to my own brother about something, I just think pretty much there's no hope for that. Because I should be able to talk to my brother about anything. I should be able to talk to family members about anything. Neatness, like if I have a situation going on, there's no reason why I can't talk to my family. There's no reason why I can't talk to my brother and say, hey man, let's work this out. If you feel that I did this wrong, tell me why I did it wrong and we can make it right. And it comes down to where a lot of people, man, so many issues, so many things going on in their life. They put the world on their back and they just take off and going with it. Let me see if I can actually get over here to YouTube and get some of you guys wrenches. But I mean, like I said, when it comes down to it, man, a lot of people got to focus on themselves. You got to start fixing things in your life, making your life actually better. Because when it comes down to it, man, who's gonna do for you but yourself? Who's gonna be there and be in the corner to best suit you but for you? And there's so many of us, man. We don't literally have nobody that we can count on because over time, with family, who's actually staying together? You know, who's actually still having these family reunions to where everybody know cousins, everybody know this, everybody know that about each other. For the most part, I was talking to one of my cousins in the country, that stay down here in Georgia. She was telling me she always tell her kids that, hey, this could be one of your cousins. So you need to literally make sure you check the family tree before y'all actually start getting intimate, before y'all start. That was the whole process in which you were vetted by the family when you come along. Nowadays, people don't vet through the family. Prime example. And I know a lot of women might feel some type of heat for this, but when it come down to it, a lot of the women, if you bring these boys around your dad or uncles or any males in your family, that man, and I do say it by man, not a male, not just a guy, but a man will sit there, talk to this guy, literally check him out, and hey, he can give you a kind of, what he looks at on the outside and carrying himself already can write you off at, hey, this guy might be decent, for the most part, he's showing this, but what's it to him on the outside, you know? Same thing with a lot of women. Don't you know how many women that I've talked to that sit there and gave me majority of the game and just looking at different women saying, hey, she ain't it. I'm like, what? Man, this girl fine. Man, she cook, she clean, she this. She ain't it. They'll tell me. They was like, you too good of a dude to mess with a woman like that. I'm like, what? Hey, no problem. And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? Like, man, I'm telling you, over time, she going to be a headache. And a lot of time, those women were right. When it came down to it, and some of the women I dealt with in the situation, long term it was a headache because, like they say, that veil. When that veil drops, you show your true colors. You know who you are. Women go through the same thing with men. When that veil drops, they show their true colors. You know, and that's the thing. You can only act who you are for so long to the point where the truth comes out. If you're a violent person and you like to beat on people, whether it be man or woman, because the stereotype is man beat on women. On the spot in the building, where you been, lady? I've been trying to look for you on Instagram. But yeah, the stereotype is man beat women. But hey, it's a lot of times where women beat men. And like I said, going through back and forth with the relation between man and women, you need a good support system for one. For two, you need a great relationship with family, because sometimes family members can help you spot things you don't see, because they got this one thing that most of all people, man or woman, get attached to. You know what that is? Blind love, where you don't see the things that are out here until it's too late. Some people have walked in those shoes, so they actually know what's what. You know, so that's why having a family. Uh oh, you been in trouble. What you been doing over there? You in trouble. Nah, I get it. Sometimes, man. Hey, so social media, the way they have their guidelines is, it just all it takes is one situation where somebody don't like a post and they say something, or even just they just feel as if the guidelines don't fit whatever the post you said, and it could be an issue. I get it, but yeah. But when it comes down to it, man, a lot of times having good relationships with people help. You know, I would have never got married young if I would have took the advice of my uncle. You know, he was telling me it's a good idea to get married young. It's a good idea to, look at these situations in your life and avoid, trying to take this path. I took this path. Look at my life. Look how it turned out. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it would have been better. You know, look at look at the way your uncle he does this. Your other uncles. Well, look at the way the other men in our family are when they took this other path. You know, and my uncle, the crazy part, he was on drugs when he was younger, but he cleaned himself up, and he was saying he lost a lot of time with us. And that's why I always told people that was my favorite uncle. He was the one that told me to go ahead and get married early. Guided me through a lot of situations, and I needed that father figure in my life when I was older. He was there for me. You know, Even though I had my coaches that were there helping me through struggles, I had, other men within the church, but the men that were closer to me, like my uncle who gave me good more, like the other uncles, they were 50-50. Some of the stuff was good and bad. As they say, eat the meat and spit out the bones. Sometimes it was a lot of bones I was dealing with, not a lot of meat. Sometimes a little fat on that bone. But understanding yourself, knowing the struggles you go through, it helps you better. So I'm about to get ready to get off of here, but just like I said, with this whole situation with new shoes, old shoes, finding out your path in life, having a good support system to help you avoid some of the pitfalls, make things better for you. You know, Shout out to the people that came in. Like I always say, hit that like button, hit the like button. You know, Once again, you know what I always say, we here, and we gone. Peace.